Rolling, okay. Yeah, with the busy fall season already in swing, you might be looking for some wholesome, convenient meals for the jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Head to factormeals.com/WellRED50 and use the code WellRED50 to get 50% off. That's code WellRED50. Y'all know WellRED50 at factormeals.com/WellRED50 to get 50% off. All right, here we are. What's up, Tushar? Look who it is, everybody. The Indian Outlaw back again.
What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me. Thank you, Corey, for being busy with whatever the hell you're busy with.
He's trying to gain the WellRED 50.
Well, it's funny because Corey did tell us, he's like, something huge came up. I just can't do it today. And right before we started, he was sending a barrage of text messages about a run-in his sister had with a mentally handicapped person in Chickamauga. So he seemed super busy, you know.
It was at the doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe he had to be at the doctor with her.
With his sister? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyway,
this mentally handicapped boy took his sister's slushie and chugged it right in front of him.
But she didn't drink it. But he didn't drink at all. What do you think about that, Tushar? Like, what's better or worse? So here's what his sister said. I don't think Corey's with her. She's texting him, I think.
Oh, you're right.
Anyway, Corey's sister said that this mentally handicapped boy ran up, grabbed her slushie, and drank a good amount of it. But then his mom called him and made him put it down and was like, "We're so sorry," and drug him away. But she's like, I'd rather just given him the whole slushie. Like, I'm not gonna finish that slushie now, you know. Yeah. So now neither of us gets. I could have made his day, give him a whole slushie, but his mom ruined that. But also now I don't have a slushie. What do you think? I'd totally drink the rest of it. I wouldn't give a fuck. But what do you think?
Are you asking me because it's involving a slushie?
Now, you're a gas station expert, right? Yeah, you know, you're people. You know all those convenience treats. Yeah, no, that's not
gas station correspondent.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're live from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
No, man, you can't drink after a retard, right?
I knew he was say that. I knew that's what he was
He's allowed to say it.
Because he's from India.
Yeah. Why not? It ain't catching.
I don't know, man. I didn't start drinking after people.
I didn't start drinking after people. His mentality. Well, yeah. I might get it.
Right. It's not contagious. But I guess in a post-COVID world, I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't do it.
Also, I feel like they got to have the immune system of a fucking robot. So, like, you know, there's no telling what they got swimming around in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything in there just fending for its life, dude. Yeah. So did COVID... I have never been remotely germophobic, and I feel like COVID didn't impact me at all in that regard. Like, it changed
me a little bit, but not much. Like, I'll notice when people fucking cough without covering their mouth and stuff, and I don't feel like I did before. Motherfuckers just keep sneezing on a plane or keep coughing on a plane. I'll notice, and I never did. But I don't think I changed much about my life other than the mask during it.
Tushar?
Yeah, I didn't start drinking after people, like just friends and whatever, until like sophomore year of college. Before that, I was like, I am not drinking after you. I'm not, using whatever. I don't know what that was, but at some point in college, I was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
dude, I've told this on here before, but when I was in high school, the black kids, they of course were like the trendsetters naturally, and. They had this game, and I'm doing air quotes when I say game, this thing that they would do that we then all started doing. And literally, they called it first drink, right? It was called first drink. And literally all it was if you saw a friend of yours who just got a drink out of a vending machine or something, and you call first drink,
you get first drink.
You get the first drink of their drink. And then, so everybody was just drinking after everybody all day long because it was always like...
I think I'd have got beat up.
Before refusing to participate? Because that never crossed your mind. You're always like Skybone will be like, first drink. You'd be like, oh, darn it.
It's like calling shotgun.
Guess I got to, yeah, exactly. No. Guess I got to give you my Powerade now, Sky.
If I buy something for me and it's known that it's my thing in the house, Andy can eat all of it as long as I get the first bite. Like if it like crunchy peanut butter, she doesn't give a shit. She prefers almond butter anyway. If I went to the store, I did the shopping, I grabbed some crunchy peanut butter, I want to open it. That's my snack. She's got her snacks. I would never eat the first coconut ice cream bar. But once the box is open, then it's fair game. So,
some things I feel like the last is better.
I'm a first guy.
I don't know.
I hear
first also hits, but the last
you
is
ask
like,
for fast.
After that, it's over.
Yeah, you ask about last. If there was one bar left, I'd be like, you mind if I have this?
Yeah, right.
So you're right.
Because last is special.
You're right.
You don't ask about first.
I think I feel about first the way most people feel about last. And I also feel that way about last, now that I'm thinking about it.
Right.
Are you eating the crunchy peanut butter with your fingers? Like, why?
No, my dick.
Yeah,
That's not like a soda.
Yeah, my dick. No, you don't like, well, you know what? This came up when I had roommates more than any other time. Like when you got roommates, but you have your stuff, it was like, man, sincerely, eat all my peanut butter. But don't open my fucking peanut butter. There was a kid, I won't say his name, me and Luke from Duke used to live with. He would open your shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck him, fuck his name. I'd be like, Wilson, you can have all the peanut butter. Don't ever open my peanut butter.
Yeah, I got lucky mostly with all that. I had a roommate once who like tried to become a drug dealer. You know, he sold weed out of our house and also was an idiot about it. And also like, even though he was selling weed, was always late on his rent and all that shit, which I know like seems to track, but really always pissed me off because it's like, what is the point of like being a drug dealer if you're not going to have you know? And also rent, his part of the rent was $150. You know what I mean? Like, because this was 15 years ago in Cookeville, Tennessee. So we had like a 4-bedroom house for $600 a month or something. And it used to drive me crazy. Outside of that, never had that many problems with it, in large part because one of my roommates, his daddy got a shitload of food stamps and just let us use like half of them. So we were like eating off of, you know, his daddy food stamp card for a good chunk of the month. And, you know, that'll buy a lot of Hot Pockets, pizza rolls. The Big Chub was a favorite of ours, which is the big-ass bologna log.
Yeah.
Called
like
the Big Chub. Big Chub, yeah.
That same dude wore Luke's boxers once. I just remembered that. Teets, friend of the pod, legend, Kevin Teets, he got food stamps on a bet one time. His buddy had just graduated and had a kid and couldn't get food stamps for whatever reason, like tried to qualify and didn't. And Kevin was like, you just don't know how to do it. And the guy was like, whatever. And he goes, I can do it without a kid. And then he did. And then we toured the country looking at law schools, just fucking eating gas station food stamp food.
Was the secret ingredient lying?
I don't know. He never told me. Might be.
Had to be.
Had to be.
Let me ask you a question on food stamps. How does that work?
Asking questions on food stamps, you're not allowed to.
Or do you get literal stamps?
Used to be, and I remember I'm well versed in food stamps. grew up on them.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Trae take this one.
Used to be they were literal stamps, right? But what was happening with that was people were using that as a currency for pills and weed and shit, right? Like instead of, you know, giving somebody $15 for you know, X3 pills or whatever, I don't remember, you know, the market value, you could give them $20 worth of food stamps or $25 worth of food stamps, right? So the government found out about that, and of course, like government always does, has to fuck a good thing up, right? You got a whole niche market going on here. They couldn't have that. So that's where they came out with the cards, and then the food stamps were on the cards, and so you're supposed to like check your ID and shit like that, and it's tied directly to you. But people got around that too. I participated in this so many times. Again, a hit for me as a college student. You go to the Walmart in Cookeville, Tennessee, right? You just wait a minute, right? And somebody will come up to you and say like, hey, you got food stamps? No, I don't. Okay, well, I do. All right. And I'll buy $150 of your groceries that you have in your cart, right? All them pizza rolls and Hot Pockets and stuff. I'll buy those on my food stamp card if you give me $75 cash, right? And it's like, that's a fucking deal.
It's a good deal. It's a 2 for 1.
It's a great deal. So I do that. I did that shit so many times. So then you got to go through the line with this trailer monster, right? And pretend she's your old lady or mama or something. I mean, not like the cashier gives a fuck, but still you do it because they got to be standing. They have to be the ones doing it. So you like go through the line with them. They pay for your shit. You give them 420s. You each go about your way. So many, many ways to defraud our system.
Did you ever?
Which deserves it. What?
Did you ever think back in your own childhood and be like, oh, I am perpetuating the cycle of taking food out of this trailer mama's kids' mouths? Not that you could have stopped it. The next person in line was going to say yes. But like, did you ever have that thought back then?
No, never once. No, matter of fact, not really until this moment.
That she had kids. That's how, the reason she had extra food stamps is she had kids and her mama kept, I don't think the kids were starving. I genuinely don't. I think the kids lived with someone else, but she still on paper had custody. You know what I mean? Which is a good racket.
Another thing, when I first had my first baby, Tushar, my Meemaw called me and was like, good news. I got 2 whole boxes of baby food y'all can have for free. And I was like, hell yeah, the hookup. What happened? You know, then I come to find out the neighbor had her baby taken away, right? And thus,
They took her baby.
And thus they had all this baby food they didn't need anymore, right? So I got hooked up once again.
I texted DJ, how many food stamps is a perk 10?
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know, but them Roxy's was about 15.
15.
Yeah,
There
back
you
then
go.
for a Roxy, which, you know, that's inflation too, because, man, Roxy's are a lot more now. Tushar, have you ever seen, and this is related to what we were talking about, the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
No, but that seems right up my alley.
It is. I promise you it
So
is.
there was
I thought we'd even talked about it before with you because you
gotta show it to
dude.
him.
You got to see
So
it.
there was a documentary. The
What is
original-
it?
So there was a documentary made by these students who, it was like for class. Like these were total amateurs, and they went up in the mountains because they heard about the last of the mountain cloggers, which is a style of dancing that was popular in Appalachia a long time ago. Like the documentaries from the 90s, and this dude was the last one, right? Well, his name was Jesco White, and he is, and I'm not making a joke, certifiably insane.
Oh yeah.
He is Jesco White, the dancing outlaw. He does do this mountain clogging stuff, and he's good at it. He had a buddy named Wally who'd play guitar, and the whole like tagline from the movie is, "My name's is it Roscoe or Jethro?"
It's Jesco.
Jesco.
You had it right.
Combine them. My name's Jesco. That there's Wally. Give us a 20, and we'll dance for your party. Wildwood Flower, Wally. And then he'd start playing Wildwood Flower, which is a very complicated song. And then he'd start dancing on this like piece of plywood, wild and crazy, right? So these dudes are like, we've got gold. This is going to be the greatest documentary ever. It was, but not because this dude was such a good dancer. He like thought he was Elvis during certain parts of the documentary. He tried to murder his wife on screen. It's a funny thing to say, but it's kind of harrowing to watch. Well, Johnny Knoxville was obsessed with it. Johnny Knoxville went back with a proper film crew and then just like hung out with his relatives, all his kids, years later. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to like put too fine a point. It's not like avant-garde, but it's a really incredible documentary, and it's funny, but not for good reasons.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you're, I don't know, me anyway, being such white trash, I went into it and got through the first 15 minutes or so of it, thinking like, you know, laughing, being like, oh, I know these motherfuckers, whatever.
Right.
And but you reach a certain point where you're like, man,
Oh,
this
God.
is like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're like, this is fucked up.
I was even telling Tushar about it just now.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's like, and then I was like, it's not funny at all.
Right.
There's really, really funny scenes when they go through that Taco Bell line.
Oh yeah, and they're
It's-
shaking the pill bottles.
And they're like, and this woman's crying, and they're trying to order Taco Bell, and one of them's crying, and they go, they took her baby. She's crying hard. Can we get 2 bean burritos?
Yeah. She's sad because she ain't got no baby no
Oh
more.
no.
And then
Yeah,
they're right
you'll
back
have
to the
that.
order.
You'll have that. Tushar, are you in Alabama or New
Hey.
York?
I'm in New York.
Right.
It is 92 degrees right now. It's
shit.
disgusting.
It's actually kind of cool here today, comparatively. It's been hotter than the devil's anus out here for most of the past, I don't even know, weeks, but today's not bad.
We've had a decent week with that, like the last 5 days or so, right? 4?
Yeah. Yeah. What were you about to say?
I got one more food stamp question.
Sweet.
Can you use them anywhere?
No.
No.
But
Like it's a card, right?
Yeah.
So there's only certified food stamp retailers.
they usually have it posted somewhere. Like
It says EBT.
It'll
Okay.
say EBT somewhere, and that means that they take it.
Okay.
They used to
And the
also
same system as unemployment.
electronic benefits something.
Okay.
Electronic benefits to
Yeah.
what the hell's the T? I don't know. But anyway, and also like you can't use them on. At least you didn't. You back in my day, you couldn't use them on hot food, like cooked food,
Fresh.
Like you couldn't order takeout with them or whatever.
Yeah, don't want these poors out here living too high on the hog.
Right.
for
Then
sure.
you'd have, but then they'd have like, what was that? What's that pizza chain that does take and bake? Papa Murphy's.
Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, where you can like get a pre-made pizza and then bake it yourself. Like part of that was you could use a food stamp card on that, right? So that opened up a whole nother market
yeah.
to them. You see.
The Papa Murphy loophole, I think it was known as.
Then there's WIC. You know what WIC is, Tushar?
That's for babies specifically, right?
Nope.
And their mamas, women, infants, and children. That's specific food stamps. That's for baby related stuff like formula, milk. I think cheese is on it.
I feel like it is.
Like the little
diapers, maybe
those little cracker things. Diapers, surely, probably, but yeah, it's just baby stuff. It's like food stamps, but just for baby stuff.
Everybody in my family, but my family, was on WIC. Does that make sense? Like all my cousins, most of my cousins.
Man.
Yeah, and I don't want to put anybody on blast here, even though I talked about this in our book, but like. I had a wild moment at a certain point when I was having my kids because I was talking to some friends of mine from back home because, again, they all got kids, right? Salina people, whatever. And at that time, when my kids were first born, I worked at the DOE. I was probably making, at that point when they were first born, I was probably making about $70,000 a year. But Katie had stopped working because the boys were born, and I still had student loan debt, credit card debt, all this shit. So I was very much living paycheck to paycheck, right? And had babies. And was like talking about that with some of my friends, and they were like, I don't remember how much I was making, but I know it was too much because I was talking to my friends, and they were like, well, just go get your stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Meaning like your WIC and food stuff. Just go down there and get your shit that you get. Yeah. Right. And I remember being like, I don't get that shit because of the amount of money I make in my job or whatever. And they like They did not know that.
Really?
I mean, it definitely seemed that they did not know that. They were like,
they thought
no,
everybody
I'm pretty
got
sure.
it.
Yeah, right. There's like, no, you got a kid, you get this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like,
how
no,
it should be.
No, that's not. Yeah, it is wild. Well, no, I don't want to get into that whole thing. Fucking start sounding like Oliver Anthony on here or whatever. It's like, but it's like it kind of.
I thought you were going to do the reverse. Everyone should just be able to get.
Of course,
stuff
I
for their
believe
kids.
that. Of course, I believe that. But what I'm saying is, like, if you think about it, they kind of like if you have that perception, it's almost like living in a, in like a socialist country or place or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Bubble.
I don't
but
think it's untread waters that like so many people on the draw hate socialism. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like millions of people on the government draw who's like, well, that's different.
Oh yeah, I need my food stamps.
No,
I've
it's not.
Heard that said so many times.
We were going to qualify for WIC at the moment, and Andy just didn't go to the meeting. And I found all this out like later. Yeah. She's like, oh, I missed it. And I was like, do we get a try again? She's like, probably. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I can't push it.
Yeah, I don't know. Good luck with that. Tushar, what's up, buddy? How things going?
Man, things are fine. Things are good. Traveling around, running around, doing shows. I don't know, man. It's the comedy is a really like I'm at that point where I still need to do the hang, and at this age, it's aggressively exhausting.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's comedy. It is what it is.
Yeah, it sucks. I wasn't going to talk about this, but we're in it. I was supposed to have an audition at the store last night, and I just didn't.
You mean like you just didn't go? Or
no, I just got there, and they were like, "Oh,
we're
next
just not going to do that." Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, okay." I guess that's the system here. I don't, it's like I don't know what I'm trying to express. At my age, it's like, no, we had a conversation. There's a system of some sort.
We had an agreement.
I put it on my calendar.
Right. Yeah, like what are we talking about?
Notice right here on my calendar.
Oh, dude, you don't want to do it because the main booker's not here, and it's like, oh, okay, let's open with that next time. Mm-hmm. But why? Why aren't they here? Right. That's also something somebody could have messaged me before I drove my ass out here. But it's like the assumption is we were going to be here anyway. No, the fuck I was not. No, the fuck I was not going to be here anyway on a Monday, dude.
Right, but I mean, they probably assumed that most people would
innocently.
Right?
I mean, like not being.
Well, you're going to be here anyway because, like, if that's what you do there. That's what people do there.
Good-hearted friends of mine.
Yeah,
just like innocently. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Do it next week.
Right. You're going to be here all those weeks.
And
anyway.
Again, I wasn't mad. I was just like, I can't believe this is the attitude.
Right.
But it is.
Tushar, are you like drinking at these hangs?
Good times.
Like you've been drinking a lot?
No, I've scaled back drinking. I do that once a week, if that.
So you're telling me you're like going out
because my body is breaking the fuck down.
Yeah, right. But are you telling me you're going out and like hanging out to the wee hours because that's what you got to do, like comedically on the scene? But you're doing all that sober as a judge, is what you're telling me?
I'm trying to.
Bro,
It's rough. That's what's rough about it.
I
Like before, it
genuinely
used to be a
don't know.
hang, and then it was a social hang.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man,
Same
42 ain't no joke.
I just don't.
Same boat.
I just literally don't think I could do it without drinking, and then I can't do that for more than like literally 2 days or 2 nights in a row.
I've been smoking.
then I'm done.
If there's no chance of me going up,
I can't do that for show.
I can smoke with like in the corner of the parking lot and then stand at the back of the room kind of thing. Can you smoke out,
Yeah.
Tushar? Did you give up on
Oh
that
yeah,
too?
he's probably high as hell all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not low. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
But it's just crazy. Like because there's probably 300 new comics a day in New York or something. Some crazy stat
right.
where you just come in from all over.
Yep.
And I was hanging out with just a crew of people, and I remember it was a Thursday night, 12:45. I'm literally being like, all right, I may get food, but I'm so tired and I'm done with the hang. And there was 2 comics who were like, we're about to go to Queens to see if we can get a spot on the 2 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
I was just like, what the how?
Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, that's what you need. But I see myself in that. I'm like, oh my God, I literally can't do that anymore.
I don't get
it's
it.
Wild.
I went to like 2 of those or 3 of those in New York, and then I also knew who went to them. There's like one guy I can think of who's still doing it, man. That's not dedication. That's not getting better. That's people who have nowhere to go, bro.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It can,
Right,
it
right,
can
right.
be
Psychopaths.
both. It can be both. But do you listen, dude? I mean, do you remember that time? Do you remember that time at that festival we all did where I
never forget it.
I didn't get literally the best of at the very last show of the festival was a best of the fest show.
This is my favorite story about you.
That was like
Let me
booked.
tell it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. We were nobodies.
Absolute nobodies, yeah.
And we did the Dead Crow, I think it was called.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear at Dead Crow.
In Wilmington, North Carolina, yeah.
And Rebecca Trent, who runs the Creek in the Cave in Austin, used to run it in New York, I think was still booking Fallon. So, like, is an important person in the industry, right? And
Right.
she's been watching all week, and there's going to be a showcase at the end called the Best of the Fest. And they're going to pick 5 comics to do 10 minutes. And it was Peggy O'Leary hosted. Here were the 5 that they picked. It was me. I can't remember Sam Talent. Sam's buddy Dave, whose last name I can't remember. He quit when he got a kid.
Oh, I thought you meant Gabori.
No. So it was me, Sam Talent, Dave, Dulce Sloan, and Trey Crowder.
Yay.
Now, undeniably, Dave, who quit because he has a kid, I'm doing the worst out of the 5 best of the fest that they pick, right? Those are various forms of giants. Peggy comes up to me, Peggy O'Leary, she's hosting. And she goes, okay, you got best of the fest, here's what we're going to do. Where's Trey? I need to tell him the order. And I go, oh, Trey's not coming. And she goes, what? And I was like, yeah, we kind of got high earlier. And then Trey just like, don't want to be here. And she goes, what do you mean? And I was like, yeah, he don't care about this. And Sam Talent was standing there and he goes, the fucking legend. And she was like, all right, I guess everybody gets 12. And we were all like, fuck yeah, dude, it rules.
Somebody, whether it was her or I don't think it was Rebecca, it might have been. So a lady called me, like I talked on the phone, called me. It's like, are you really not coming?
That
and
was Rebecca.
And I was like,
that was the Booker of Fallon.
I guess had smoked or whatever else, but I'd been drinking for like hours. Mm-hmm. This also, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like at this point in time in Wilmington, you couldn't just like get an Uber. I don't think.
I would have went back and got you.
Right. Well,
we had Shadorn driving us around, literally.
Anyway, I was
Shadorn
back at the
chauffeur.
hotel.
That's what we were
smoked,
calling.
I drank. It's like 1 a.m. I was like, I can't make it. It was in the like tone of like, tell him I ain't got it, man. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was like, yeah, I just can't make it.
And he told me that. I was like, hey, congratulations, you're best of the fest, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nah, I can't do it. And I've never been so excited to deliver news in my life because I knew these people from New York. You know what I mean? I'd been in the trenches with these people in New York. These were hungry people. Sam Townsend's one of the coolest dudes ever, but like everyone else, including me, would have stepped on our mama's face to get that last spot. You know what I mean? And then he's like, nah. And
I love that.
All my cells turned on. I could not wait. I was telling everybody, Trae don't want to do it. Trae's not coming.
Oh, so if anybody saw me make a crazy face.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, I'm a super cool dude. You didn't know? Yeah, I'm like the coolest dude there is.
No, I'm saying like your coolest story involves you not showing up to a thing. It's not like you showed up and were like a tornado.
Yeah, no.
You just didn't show up, and that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Sam Talent murdered.
Oh, I guarantee that. If anybody saw me pick up my phone and make a crazy face when it goes, because I just got a notification said something about the Chiefs. The Chiefs say Travis Kelce's ACL is okay, which I didn't know was a question. Meanwhile, I drafted him. No one cares about my fantasy team. I just thought
that's my real team.
Thought
though,
people
dog.
might
Fuck
see
your fantasy team.
Thought people might see my face and be like, wonder what happened. But anyway, listen, let me tell you guys about something real quick. With the busy fall season already in swing, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. It saves you time. If you're too busy this fall to cook but want to make sure you're eating well, with Factor, you can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up, too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you got to do is heat and enjoy, then get back to crushing your goals. Adjust your stride this autumn without missing a step. Choose from 34-plus weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. You can level up with Gourmet Plus options prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Treat yourself to upscale meals with premium ingredients like broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. If you're too busy running around during the day to think about lunch, you can keep your energy up with Lunch to Go, effortless, wholesome meals like grain bowls and salad toppers that are ready to eat whenever you're on the go, no microwave required. Factor is also calorie conscious. You're looking for calorie conscious options during the busy season. Try delicious dietitian-approved calorie smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. If you need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best as you tackle the busy autumn, you can try the Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. They also have a wide assortment of snacks, more than 45 additional add-ons, breakfast items like pancakes, cheddar egg bites, a breakfast skillet, or you can get their delicious smoothies and shakes. With Factor, you can rest assured you're making a sustainable choice. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions, source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in the meals. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Drew, you a fan of Factor?
Yeah, I've been doing the keto. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think.
Keto. And it just, Andy needs a lot of protein right now. And you know, I could cut some carbs, let's be honest. And they're delicious. And you don't always expect that, especially with a keto thing. It's like, all right, there's going to be some dry ass meat and some broccoli. But nah, man, it's real tasty stuff.
It is tasty. We got it for podcast purposes, and I liked it so much. Me and my wife signed up, and we're actual subscribers now, and that's the truth. Okay, straight from the horse's mouth, Factor hits. So here's what you can do. Head to factormeals.com/WellRED50 and use the code WellRED50. That's WellRED50 to get 50% off. That's code WellRED50 at factormeals.com/WellRED50 to get 50% off today. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. All right, Drew.
Should have made it Well-Fed 50.
Oh, there you go.
It's not, though. It's well-read, though.
Food stamps.
That's a good question. Probably not, but like they should though, because they're cold. It's like a take and bake pizza, you know.
Yeah, but
it's like you microwave it.
I think it's a subscription. Maybe that's why. I mean, the government pays people. It's not like the food's being given away, so there's no reason for them not to.
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to. I don't know. Some people, they might be like, I'm not saying this about Factor. I don't know their deal, but you know, some people are like,
some companies don't want to be associated with the poors.
Sure,
lots of companies don't want to be associated with the poors.
Yeah, right. They're like, nah, we don't fool with that.
It's a real problem for the poors
market. Yeah, but you know, they'll always have hot pockets and whatnot. They're there when you need them.
Yep,
making you fatter. Drew.
Yeah.
So you went to Burning Man last year, right?
I did.
Which means you missed the great mud apocalypse at Burning Man.
Sure.
By just 1 year.
Yeah.
This year, as of right now, I think, all the people at Burning Man, they've been stuck there for days, like in the mud. They can't get out.
They started leaving yesterday.
Okay, so they're getting out now. But they were there for days, and you were saying yesterday, you're like, well, really, the truth is, the year I was there last year, that was way harder than this year.
He asked me, and then I'm the guy who sounds like this. Like, he's like, hey.
That's what he said, though.
Hey, let's talk about Burning Man, and then I'll make fun of you for being the guy who won't shut the fuck up about Burning Man. So let me say, before we cut this into clips or anyone else, like, I'm being asked about Burning Man. I refuse to talk to you fucking plebeians about Burning Man unless I'm forced to. No. What I was saying is last year was one of the hottest years on record, maybe the hottest. It was miserable.
Right.
It was hard to do anything during the day, and then at night you'd have like 3 hours in you and you'd just be tired. Like it was taking it out of you. You couldn't sleep. You know, it was hard. It's a desert, and then it's hot for the desert. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, this is one of the hottest runs we've had in a literal desert. You know what I'm saying?
You've been at Bonnaroo when it's like triple digits or whatever, and it's
depends
like
on if you're
humid.
acclimated.
How does it compare? Because I mean, that's fucking brutal.
If you're not acclimated to the humidity, which I wasn't the last time it was humid at Bonnaroo because I've been living in California, it's legitimately worse.
Yeah. If
you're acclimated to it, because it's just like because it's a difference between 85 and literally 115. And then also it's 10 days for most people.
Fuck, dude.
Not everybody does 10 days. But let me explain what I was saying. It started raining in Burning Man Thursday, late Thursday. So the only people who were stuck were planning on leaving early anyway. I'm not sure they could get out Sunday, which is the day most people leave. So it was extended by a day. But Burning Man has no vendors.
Yeah, right.
It's not like people selling food and water there. You're supposed to bring your own. And you're supposed to plan for this. They've had rain in the past. So what you saw was the news reacting to like TikToks and Instagrams of people who either didn't know that or like just kind of jumped on the trend of like, we're stuck here. The only real danger, as far as I know, was porta potties getting too full. They was going to end up, in shit rivers.
Yeah.
And that would be a problem. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get in to pump them for a couple days.
How did they keep that from happening? I had to keep bringing it all back to Bonnaroo, but
because
like I saw
so many of them.
By the end of the day at Bonnaroo, a lot of days they called it snow coning, I think, which is always super gross. Where it like the refuse, the poop, builds up in the porta potty into like a mound above it. By the end of many nights at Bonnaroo, they're mostly all like that. Then they pump it out every morning.
There's so many more. There's so many more because they know it's the only thing that could really go wrong.
Yeah.
So there's just so many more is what I think. And then also, when Burning Man started, there wasn't porta potties. You're supposed to bring it in out with you in a bucket.
You're supposed to poop in a bucket all the time and then take your poop bucket with you when you leave?
It started as a literal survivalist like festival. And it's just like morphed into what it is now. And I mean, I think that's good. I wasn't going to go poop in a bucket and not do drugs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that it became what it is. But my point is like, a lot of the people are into that. Like weirdly into it, you know what I mean?
Okay, but when I think of survivalists, I think of my youngest son Benton is super into those shows, like Alone. You ever seen Alone?
Yeah.
Like Bear Grylls.
So this is the opposite of Alone. 70,000.
That's what I was going to say.
Because it's a party.
You said it's a survivalist thing, and I was like, when I think of survivalist, I think of some like one bearded lunatic in the woods by himself pooping. Right. In a holy
well, I don't want to speak for those people because I'm not one of them, but I think it's like, but they like are like, no, what do we do when society breaks down? We got to lean on each other. We've got to like have you know what I'm saying? And also it's just fun. I mean, those people like to have fun, believe it or not.
Right.
And then the other thing I was going to say is, so you had people who like tried to come for the weekend who couldn't get in. That was another big complaint. And then finally what you had happen was people who were like, I got to get back to work on Monday. You're supposed to like not do that because you could get stuck there. You're like, there's so many like, it's not a rule, but it's like, hey, don't plan on going back to work Monday. A lot of stuff could go wrong. People are like, I'm going to get fired if I don't go back to work. They started walking out. And of course that made the news. But it was, and I mean this genuinely, never a dire situation. It was cold and wet and the party got rained on. And then my understanding is Monday night, they usually burn on Sunday. They burn the man on Sunday. They burn the man on Saturday. They burn the temple on Sunday. My understanding is on Monday night, they burned them both, and everybody was, it was a great party because they had to wait on it. You know what I mean?
Wasn't there a thing with Chris Rock and Diplo where they walked like 6 miles before somebody picked them up and gave them a ride the rest of the way out?
So Diplo had to go to work. Diplo had a show in D.C. I assume Chris was never planning on staying the night, that he got driven in by somebody and was going to like check it out and then leave.
Right.
And had something to do. And yeah, I mean, that was the other thing. The news was like, you're not allowed to leave. They never said you're not allowed to leave. They said, hey, stay put or you'll get fucking stuck. And then people did. Right. And if you want to walk out, you're not kidnapped. I mean, the whole thing is like, do whatever you want. So I hope I didn't. It's funny because I feel like what's going on the internet is people are like, having more fun shitting on it,
thinking it's worse than it is. And so you're kind of poo-pooing the party that everybody's having, making fun of the people who got stuck in their own poop at Burning Man.
Because I was fucking asked to.
Well, yeah, right. But I'm just saying you're like. You're just stating facts or whatever. But
I saw a meme that said the only thing more annoying than someone talking about Burning Man, it turns out, is people talking about how much Burning Man sucks.
I don't know. I saw a tweet that I thought was pretty funny. It said, "Really, you're laughing right now?
Yeah, I saw
influencers at Burning Man are unable to fulfill sponsored content agreements, and you're laughing."
See,
I thought that was great.
I did too. And what's great about that is. Probably 90% of burners love that too. Because
right.
You're literally.
That's only about the percent that's ruining Burning Man that they don't have for them.
Well,
anyway.
ruining aside, on your ticket it says if you try to commodify this, and we find out, we will ban you.
Yeah.
So it's like it is actually against they have like 5 rules and that's one of them. It's like don't kidnap. You know what I mean? Don't shit in the street. And right up there is hey, don't be an influencer here.
Hey, is there police there? Is there any type of
There's a president.
You can't rape anyone vibe.
Yeah,
because Tushar's out.
Tushar's like, I was gonna go, but yes.
No, I'm just wondering, if it's all it's
federal land,
community coming together and supporting.
There are 9 different agencies who have boots on the ground with various goals. Like most of our cops, most of them just want to arrest people for doing drugs and make a bunch of money and be fucking undercover. Mm-hmm. I never experienced it one-on-one, but all my friends tell me that you can spot the dudes so easily. But it's harder with the girls because it's like you're on drugs and it's like a hot chick's like, you want some acid? And you're like, fuck yeah, dude, titties. And then, you're handcuffed.
Well, that don't hit.
If you're not selling it, they let you go and they make you come back to court. It's just for money. But anyway, yes, there are people there for that sort of thing. And then there's a volunteer group, I think, called the Black Rock Rangers who have some structure and organization who they don't have the authority to arrest you. But if you're like, hey... this dude's over here raping, they'd come beat him up. I mean, that's the other thing. You police yourselves, dude. If you beat the shit out of somebody, what's somebody going to do?
So it's not all peace and love at Burning Man.
No, it's not hippies, dude.
Yeah, right.
It's weirdos.
Yeah, okay.
They had a huge gun lover faction. My understanding is the first decade. Dudes was running around on their motorcycles just shooting guns in the air and shit.
What the fuck? Like Saudi princes.
Yeah, dude.
That's wild as hell. Tushar, where you at on Burning Man / festival culture? You ever partook in any of that?
I find the whole thing
super white.
It just seems like a lot to handle, and me in that situation, I would burn all my fuel the first night and I'd be in recovery mode for the next 2-3 days. I just can't. I'm a creature comfort person, so the idea of even living in a camper and living that life for a block of time.
What about the city ones?
I'm not even
like that one in New York. I think it's called Governor's Ball. I've been to that once. What about that? Are you not interested in that either? Like
a music festival?
Yeah.
Just a day long thing. I don't mind them, but you kind of have to do drugs. You can't go in sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my position. If you're gonna do it, do it right.
I interpreted Trae's question as asking kind of about music because Burning Man really is very different.
I said Burning Man and festival culture, so I mean I'm lumping them together too. But yeah, I meant music festivals too. I did. I used to go to Bonnaroo every year. Me and Drew went to a couple the same or together, but that was when I was in my 20s, and I could handle it then. But even then, it's it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like you were saying, the first one I ever went to, I went way too hard on Thursday night. Fucked up the whole weekend. Right. Still had a good time, but you have to learn how to pace yourself. But ever since I've been well into my 30s, there's no fucking way. He still does it though. He's a wild man. I mean, I would do it in if I had a air conditioned RV and a VIP pass and just everything was the hitness way to go about it, I would maybe do it if the lineup was incredible.
You're talking about a music festival.
Yeah, Burning Man. I never really had any interest in Burning Man until you told us about it last year. And I mean, you made it sound appealing, but fuck, dude, it
was also really hard.
Desert in August, like I don't think I would survive that.
Well, and they did that on purpose too, to try and prevent it from becoming what it's become.
Yeah.
But you just can't beat capitalism, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like they had to have an airport in case someone, dies, like breaks their neck, right? We've got to have a way to medevac people.
Right.
Well, once you have an airport, like the FAA, you can't just you got to let people use it. Well, now, dude, they literally fly in from San Francisco and shit on their own fucking jets.
I saw somebody say that they have a jet there.
Oh, they embraced that part.
That's like the fuck jet.
Oh, really?
Like,
didn't get invited.
Like some rich motherfuckers think. So the way it works is like you come in, like you got to have something to give people, and it can be like fucking flower bouquets or whatever, but it can also be like experiences or art or shit that you make or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess this one super rich guy, his thing that he donated to the community, his bartering item was like, he was like, yeah, I'm going to have my private jet out here.
I thought it went skydiving. Are they fucking on the skydive jet?
It's the Mile High Club thing. That's what I read. It's like the jet will take you up just to bang in the sky, and then you land and somebody else gets on there. And it's like all these, tech bros just butt fucking in this airplane for hours on end. It's going to be pretty gross by Wednesday, but still, it's neat. But anyway, I heard that was a thing. I mean, that shit's wild. There's a Thunderdome, right?
The Thunderdome rules. Thunderdome's my favorite thing.
That
my friend took
fun.
me, and I had high expectations of the Thunderdome, and it exceeded them. There is also there are people who build huge ass tents, and then it's exclusive. They have security and stuff. But if they find out you're doing that, they'll kick you out.
Yeah,
you won't get invited back because you're not supposed to do that. And then also so to get around that, they'll try to make it sneaky. There's not a lot of signs. It's kind of invent only. You can't tell. And my buddy Lou, for a few years, his favorite thing to do was to find those parties and then go in there and just be an asshole. Find the parties where they're trying to make it exclusive and just going to be like, hey, is this your guys' first Burning Man? What's that? And yeah. I think he's also big. So.
It's not the same thing, but you were there, but I think you were upstairs one night at Old Ebbitt's after a show at the DC Improv. I accidentally did that with some I think it was like high-powered lobbyists and senators and shit in the basement of Old Ebbitt's. I was looking for the bathroom, and I went down there and I was like, oh shit, there's a whole nother bar down here. Goddamn! And I walk up to the bartender and I'm like, hey buddy, give me whatever. And then these dudes in suits come over there and just hey, can we help you? They're standing there all ominously for a minute, and I was like, I'm just getting a drink. I don't know what to prop, and they're like, yeah, you can't be down here. And I don't know.
I don't think you did tell me because I would have went.
It's right before they broke out the child sacrifices and whatnot. I assume happened right after that. But
there is something gross about the idea of Burning Man, and it's a way for tech billionaires or just rich people to let loose for but ratchet people doing ratchet things at festivals. Yeah. I love that idea. But the people who are, in my head, just doing this as an experience and whatever. I mean, I guess it is what it is, but that seems gross to me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're at Bonnaroo. You know what I mean? They're at Electric Daisy Carnival. They're at NFL football games in the boxes. It's I don't know how you prevent that from happening. I will acknowledge that when you look at how unbelievable some of the art is, there's a little bit of you where it's well, I get why we let the billionaires come and hang out with us because we couldn't have paid for this.
What did you give away?
So I worked with a camp that we were a coffee shop. We were open every day from 8 to noon. The coffee was free, and we had a bunch of games, and we'd make food too. Every once, I think 2 days a week we made food and gave it away, eggs or whatever.
I was gonna cringe at the 8 in the morning, but I know when it's that hot, you're up at 7 anyway, 6:30 or 7.
Well, and you don't do. We had shifts. I think I had to work 4 shifts.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But you're right, Tushar. I mean, I definitely prefer the ratchet aspect to it. Here's a real gross one. That guy who won that case in front of the Supreme Court, where Nestle is allowed to have child slaves.
What?
His name is, he's one of your people, I think, Tushar.
Oh, I know what you're talking
something
about.
Something Patel.
Well, that does not narrow it down, right? Yeah,
he now teaches at Georgetown. He posted a picture on his way out. Had a good time, and he looked fucking stupid. He looked like he looked like somebody doing a bit about a Burning Man character. He had this shirt on or whatever. And people were y'all had him out there with no rules. Why didn't you murder this fucking guy? And then, like, a lot of people were like, because we didn't know who he was. I mean, like burners aren't fucking internet patriots, dude. They're just fucking burnouts.
Right.
Anyway, it was funny.
This is a random question. I watched that movie The Northman a few days ago. Robert Eggers' Viking movie starring Alexander Skarsgård.
I've been wanting to see that.
It's good. It's weird. This is totally unfair of me. I'm an example of how frustrating it can be to be any kind of creator at some points, I think, because like I went into that movie worried it would be too artsy fartsy because Robert Eggers he likes some arts in his farts, right? He made The Lighthouse and whatnot, which I like that movie, but it's like wild. It's out there. And this night I just want to see a metal as fuck Viking rip shit up, right? I wasn't into any fucking French
metaphors.
Shit. Yeah, right. And
this violence is not a metaphor for nothing.
No, yeah, fuck all that. But then I watched it, and I ended up being it was good, and it's definitely metal as fuck, and I recommend it. But I ended up being almost a little let down because I was like, well, I mean, I thought it'd be a little wilder than that. You know what I mean?
Fart.
Yeah, right. I thought there'd be a modicum of art in the farts, you know. But like, and there was a little bit. But anyway, none of that is even the point. It made me think of something that I wanted to talk about on the podcast this week. I thought Corey was going to be here, and he grew up in the church and shit. But Tushar, you've been on about other gods and stuff.
Tushar got some gods.
He got some gods up his sleeve.
I got gods on gods on gods. My gods got gods.
Sleeves on sleeves on sleeves.
Yeah,
too.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah, on them arms. So anyway, it got me to wondering, like, I don't know how Odin and them, I don't know how they died out, right? Like, as a belief system. I don't know. Vikings got conquered or whatever, cultural victory. I don't know the story of it.
Some people claim to still believe.
Right, but very, very few.
Yeah.
Same with, like, Zeus and them motherfuckers.
Sure.
Right? But, like, those things, Odin and Zeus and them are all considered, like, rad. Mm-hmm. Like, would Jesus and his boys be like that if they weren't, genuinely believed in by so many people? Like, if Christianity had gone the way of Norse mythology and Greek mythology and all those gods, would people have, like, Jesus? I know people already have Jesus tattoos, but I mean, would, like, drug doing bikers have, like, Jesus? I know they already have those. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. I don't think the drug doing bikers would, because his message
like cool kids.
was quote unquote radically different. Not to put the too fine a point on the rad question. They were like,
but they had
violent wrath shit. And
what about
Jesus
the, like, aren't there like archangels and stuff who are fucking metal and shit?
They'd
Michael and Gabriel
important.
And these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't they all be like?
Yeah,
would we have like they'd be like comic books about them and shit?
The reason I don't think that would be the case is I'm pretty sure Jesus took it off as, he was there, LeBron James. The franchise wasn't doing good, son. But if the franchise had done well on its own, yeah, those were the stars. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, those stories are rad about the archangel and all that, but like they weren't connecting with the people.
Right. What about all that? What about all y'all's gods, Tushar? Like, do they have any kind of presence?
We have a full comic book level of gods with backstories.
Yeah,
and they're taught to children in literally comic book form.
Do biker gangs get tattoos of them?
Yeah.
I'm like kind of serious. Like, is there like a, if it's not tattoos, like is there like a, this unknown god, me and my crew actually follow him because he's like more fucking violent than that pussy shit the rest of the Indians believe in?
Well, there's like Durga Mata, who is like the queen of death. So there's some people who you can decide to like focus all your prayer efforts on one thing. And that happens to be the merchant of death, the person who, like, Shivji is like the destroyer and the creator, but you can focus on the destroyer part. So you can focus on certain elements of what a god represents, and then in your head make it blow up and make it a thing. I've seen people with tattoos and they go full on. But then you have like Hare Krishnas who are just, just trying to chant and be peaceful. So like you have the whole gambit, but it is a little bit more like mythology involved.
It's always fat white people who do Hare Krishna.
Didn't John Lennon get into that, or was that just a line in the fucking "I Am the Walrus" or whatever song that was?
I don't know.
He got into something.
They got into Krishna. They got into like that. But I mean, that's the thing. It's a grab bag of options.
But is there like subcultures kind of built around it, you know, like they are with the Viking culture in America? Or is that just because America's so broken we just have to believe in some? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like Viking lore biker gangs, but there's also like there's bars. There's 100 bars that are like Viking-esque in America.
Vikings are kind of like pirates or something, right? But part of their whole mythology...
White pirates.
White pirates. But part of their whole mythology is this pantheon of gods too, is what I'm saying. So that's like also a part, you know, Thor and Odin and them motherfuckers they're literally Marvel characters, right? Like literally.
Right.
So I'm saying, so I was asking if like the Christian gods, if that would have happened if Christianity had fallen off, and I guess I'm wondering what the I don't know what the parallel. I don't know shit about Hinduism, Tushar. I don't know how to reframe the question for y'all.
Well, before we get into Bollywood, because I do want to know about that. I do think that it's important.
That's what he calls your church, whatever.
It's important that like to point out that monotheism is what made Christianity, like it set it apart, and that may prevent it from getting into that place. Yeah, but that's the last thing I want to say on, because fuck Christianity. Let's hear more.
No, dude, I love Christianity. People. It's so fun.
You would. He's
like coming back, baby.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
No, I was saying, like, you've heard of the Mahabharata, like the main epic in Hinduism that is a tale of Arjun and Lord, like it's like brothers battling each other at war, and the whole thing is about.
Assume we don't know anything other than y'all don't eat cows. Like, assume it's just the cows.
Is that what RRR is about? Or no?
No.
Because that movie hit.
That's just Tushar's favorite way to say it.
No, but like there's like these epic tales. Mahabharata's the main one. And within that tale, it starts on a battlefield. The guy's like, I'm about to go to war with my brother across the field. What do I do? What's the right thing? So it's like this thing. And it's an epically long tale about this god going through this dilemma. So yeah, it's no different than Thor or whatever, but it's not, I don't think it's turned into the thing that the lore of like folk tales. It's almost like these are stories that you live by and they're passed down, but it doesn't have like, Indian people aren't aggressive people. We're very passive and kind of like settle in our own. So because of that, it's not, I don't think it amplifies into this like Greek mythology level. I'm sure it does for some people.
It could just be kind of what I'm trying to get at, which is like the difference between a living and a dead religion. Do you know what I mean? Like the way you describe, you're like, you live your life by these tales or whatever. It's like, it's a religion, right? The other ones, like, they were religions, but except for like a handful of loans or whatever, no one believes in those religions anymore. But the gods, the pantheon from the religion has become like pop culture fodder, right? So like, would that happen with the pantheon of Hindu gods? I bet it would. Y'all got some y'all got some wild, cool shit. It probably would happen, but you can't really do that right now because it's like
offensive.
It's a religion that people actually live by. But if it were to die, would it turn into comic book shit in a few generations, 1,000 years? And I bet it probably would.
Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like using Native Americans for your mascot.
Yeah.
It's like the Michigan State Spartans. Well, that's okay. They're dead.
Right.
There's no Spartans out here.
They also were the slaver ones, right?
I don't know. Fuck them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
We don't give a shit.
They're white.
Yeah. All that.
Yeah.
But then you're like, and we're the Chippewas. It's like, well, you can't, come on. They're right there.
Yeah.
They're still here.
Yeah. Also, one thing I want to say, if you do end up watching The Northman before you go, you might think at certain points, you're like, this is just like Hamlet or The Lion King, which is also just Hamlet. You know, one of the most classic stories ever told. I did not know, but Hamlet, Billy Shakespeare, I mean, Billy Shakes, he based Hamlet off of a Norse folktale called Amleth. It's literally just the anagram of the name, Amleth.
He was the first aggregator.
And Amleth... The Northman, that movie is the tale of Amleth adapted. So it is Hamlet, but it's actually the OG Hamlet before William Shakespeare even made Hamlet or whatever. So I don't know. It's worth watching.
You think that's...
Bunch of metal shit.
You think that's like a more valuable skill in the world of the arts?
What, adapting shit?
Being able to steal and get away with it?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like fucking
a lot of success stories.
Dennis Leary is the number one example I can think of.
I mean, Carlos Mencia had a great run before he got taken down.
But he stole a few jokes. But Dennis Leary stole the whole thing.
There's a famous saying that's something like, good artists,
you to the
good
television?
artists borrow, great artists steal, or something like that. Where it's like, and a lot of them, writers are like comedians are the ones because it's different for us, I guess, because there's a punchline only works once type of thing. Maybe that's why we care more.
That is why.
But like with comedians, it's like a cardinal sin. You don't steal, even though in like vaudeville days and stuff. That's literally all anybody did. Everybody just did each other's acts. Everybody stole. But most other art forms, it's like that's all they do is just steal from each other and repurpose it and remake it or whatever because everything's, been done to a certain extent.
I guess as long as you repurpose it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's something really icky when you're like, man, you just took that dude's thing. Like the Leary thing keeps coming up because it was like he just took the act. Yeah, he did the act and but he did it better. And that's part of what makes it so bad. It was like, yeah, you did put in the missing piece. You made it slightly more palatable. Good for you.
I knew that everybody always said that about Leary, but I never investigated that whole situation myself.
Did Leary steal from a specific person, or did he
stole
was
Bill
it like
Hicks'
a grab
whole
bag?
act.
That's what everybody says.
Dude, his own friends say it.
I'm not like defending him. I'm just saying also like I haven't. All I'm saying is I have heard that. But
they were rep by the same people, and Leary was like a joke guy. Set up punchline. He was a comic from the 80s. And Hicks was doing the thing he was doing, but it wasn't getting over. And Leary started doing everything Hicks was doing, the same mentality, the same I'm an asshole, but he made it sing-songy. He added the comedian chops to it, which is what it was missing. I mean, everyone who shits on Hicks, there's one thing they always say. It was like, well, it was compelling, but I didn't laugh the whole time. So it's like Leary was like, well, what if I just added 7 punchlines to this guy's whole deal? Because now it sounds weird to us, but like his perspective, Bill Hicks's perspective, had not been done on stage before other than a little bit with Lenny Bruce.
Yeah. It's about time to get out of here, Tushar. What do you, we're having a good time. Thanks for joining us as always. What, you got anything you want to let the people know about? Tell them where to find you.
I'll be in Chicago this weekend at Zany's, and then, I'm around.
Yeah.
Holler if you're in New York. I'll come say hi.
Me too. Yeah, I'll be in Austin, then Ohio, and then Lexington, and then elsewhere. Beyond that, go to TraeCrowder.com. You can also pre-order the book around here and over yonder at TraeCrowder.com. Y'all know where all my shit is.
I'll be in Atlanta October 6th and 7th as part of the Laughing Skull Comedy Festival, and then I'm going to be in San Francisco in December. I don't remember which weekend. The one before we do Zany's, I think. Maybe the one before that.
I'm going to be in San Francisco in December, pretty sure.
Oh, cool.
I think the weekend before Zany's, I'm in Arkansas. Anyway, I guess I'll do it. Thank you, Tushar. This is about to be bad, but here we go. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you, God bless you. Good night and Skeews.
That was good. Oh, sorry I didn't sing with you. I don't sing with Corey because there's a delay.
Yeah, that's all right.
My bad.
All right. Bye, Tushar. Love you, buddy.